Hello guys, in this video I'm going to be sharing with you what DBT is and why it's become so vital in today's data ecosystem. I'll be showing you how DBT works and I'll also be running you through a quick guide on getting started with DBT. What what is DBT? Now, DBT is simply a data transformation tool. So it's a tool that lets you write SQL-based data transformation scripts which lets you turn your raw, messy data into useful data for downstream users. DBT over the years has become an industry standard for data transformation processes. And the reason behind that is because it adopts software engineering principles and best practices in developing DBT models. Unlike your regular SQL scripts, DBT allows for version control, modularity, portability, CI/CD, and documentation. In these cases, they are all built in into DBT. What this simply means is that it turns your basic SQL script into reusable components and eventually a data product that can be reused and scaled. It allows to develop tests inside DBT and generate automated documentation for your scripts and models. And to put all this simply, it's just DBT is just you writing SQL scripts using software engineering best practices. Over here, we have the major platforms and the major products from DBT. We have the regular DBT platform, the whole DBT in its entirety. We have the DBT platform, which was formerly DBT Cloud. The DBT platform is DBT's SaaS-based tool that allows for development and deployment of your DBT code and also for a whole lot of other DBT tools. DBT Core and DBT Fusion Engine are the two major components or rather engines of DBT. So whenever you're building a DBT model, you're essentially using DBT Core or DBT Fusion Engine. What DBT Core is? DBT Core is the original command line tool that was developed for data transformation. And recently they developed DBT Fusion. DBT Fusion is essentially a successor to DBT Core, next generation DBT engine, a faster and better and more efficient DBT framework than DBT Core. So right now, if you were to get started with DBT, you are encouraged to use DBT Fusion over DBT Core. And when we walk through a demo of how to get started, I'll show you eventually how to go about installing DBT Fusion on your local PC. So what are the importance and strengths of DBT and why is it so essential? Well, first off, in DBT, you don't write basic DML and DDL SQL scripts. Or you just write a basic select scripts in SQL and DBT behind the scenes build up the essential code, the essential DDL code that is necessary to run those scripts behind the scenes using what we call materialization. So that is a more advanced topic in DBT. Now, DBT also allows for reusable and modular data models, which simply means allowing us to reference data models, which are basically SQL scripts, within another SQL script. When you get into writing DBT code, you will understand all this more better. So when working with DBT, these are some major benefits to using DBT. It handles boilerplate code, like I said, using materialization. It generates the SQL scripts needed to run this code. It uses a code compiler. Within our SQL scripts, we can use the what is known as the Ginger templates and then calling other SQL scripts inside SQL scripts determines the order of model execution. Most of these things, when you get started with DBT, it becomes more clearer to you, right? So the order of execution is when you have a script referenced inside another script. DBT already knows it's supposed to run the script first before running the higher level or the parent script, right? It's to run the children's script before running the parent script. Now, document your DBT project, which is already built into DBT by automated documentation. As at today, 9th of November 2025, the DBT Fusion engine, which is still currently in development, does not have an automated documentation built in it. So for the documentation, it's available on the DBT core, but we believe DBT is working towards building a documentation engine. So building automated documentation within the Fusion engine. It allows you to write, DBT allows you to write tests in your DBT projects, manage packages, and a whole lot of other things. Now, before we get started into setting up DBT in our PC, I would like us to go through how companies are already adopting DBT and developing data solutions for their organizations. So over on the DBT website, we can see they already have dozens of stories of case studies on their website. And if you go through these case studies, you can learn and understand how DBT ties up with other platforms and deliver real-world data solutions. If you're familiar with the ETL pipeline, extract, transform, and load, DBT sits in the transformation layer. So, for example, we have Whoop, we have Empower, we have McDonald's, we have Siemens, we have a lot of case studies that if you want to learn a bit more on how DBT works and interacts with real life problem, this is one of the best resources to do that. There are already detailed explanation of how DBT was adopted to solve their problems. If we were to look at Whoop, for example, we can see here that Whoop had been using DBT Core for a while, for a long time, but they couldn't deploy their models using DBT Core. Deploying of models is done on DBT Cloud, which is what most organizations use nowadays. So they had to move from DBT Core into DBT Cloud, which help them scale and even focus on adopting and investing AI solutions in their businesses. So these are very important materials to work through if you're interested in learning about DBT. If you want to get started with DBT and install DBT on your system, you can head over to their documentations. They already have clear walkthroughs on their website for you to get that done. But we'll just be looking at an overview of how to get that done on your system today. So you can install the DBT engine or the DBT core, right? It's more preferable you install the DBT engine. That is the engine that DBT is actively promoting on their website. So you can head over to install Fusion. If you were to install DBT core, you would need a Python package manager, which is pip on your system. So you need to manage Python packages, right? You can install DBT core through Python package, but for DBT Fusion, you can install it directly with your PowerShell. No need for no need to deal with Python package manager. So you head over to install Fusion, and then over here you can see command line interface, right? And here is your code that's used in installing. So if you're using a Mac or a Linux, you can copy this and put this on your terminal or wherever you put it there. Now I use a Windows, so I can copy this and then go over to my PowerShell and paste it there and run it. So just go over to PowerShell and then paste it here and then run it. I already have DBT installed, so if I run it, let's see what it's going to say. Yeah, so I already have DBT installed and it's going to run. So once you're done installing that, you can just restart your PowerShell, and then type in dbtf version. It will show you to let you know that DBT has been successfully installed on your system and you can start using it right away. Just very simple. So over here, you can choose to update or uninstall or whatever necessary action you might want to carry out. So now you want to get started with developing DBT on your system. You can just head over here to their guides. And then over here, you can see a quick start for DBT Fusion Engine. The rest are integrating or setting up DBT for other data warehouse tools like Snowflake, Databricks, BigQuery, Redshift, and so on. But for now, we'll be starting with a quick start for DBT Fusion Engine. We are here in our Visual Studio Code and you can open up your terminal. Remember, we've already installed DBT Fusion. Over here, we can move into the directory you want to set up your project. So I'll be moving into my documents, GitHub. I'll be creating a new folder where I'll be initializing my DBT project in new DBT project. So enter your folder. And once you're here, you can now initialize your DBT project. And here is the setup for your DBT project. You're going to choose between which adapter you want to use: Snowflake, Databricks, BigQuery. I already have a BigQuery project setup. I have a project set up in BigQuery, so I'll be using BigQuery. Now we can see over here that we have projects created successfully. Project's name is Jaffle Shop, which is the templated project brought in from the Jaffle Shop repository, and your project directory is Jaffle Shop. So I'll select BigQuery and project ID. Project ID is the project ID of my from BigQuery. Depending on what you choose, you may see a different authentication configuration. So I'll head over to my BigQuery and get my project ID. So I've gotten my project ID. I'll place inside here. For the data set, this is going to be your target data set. Now, what that means is after transformation, where is this transformed data going to be saved, right? So if it's in your Snowflake or BigQuery, it will create a data set. It will create a database that it will be stored in with the name of this data set. So I'll simply name mine transformed data. Just get the point. And then location, just put US. Authentication method. For this, I'll be using service account. I already have this set up in BigQuery. I won't be walking through that in this video. So you can use either service accounts or Google Cloud Auth. If you're using another data platform, it's going to require another form of authentication. So just note that. So service accounts. And now my DBT project is set, so we can open up our project. So this is what the project looks like. I have this error in my project. which is profile Java shop not found in profiles YAML file, right? So it's trying to find our YAML file, DBT project YAML file is our configuration for our project, and it's trying to find these profiles in the profiles.yaml file. Now, why mine is giving this error is I have a separate profile.yaml file separate from this project. So if you look over here, you would see a profiles.yaml file and you will see the Jaffa shop with all the configurations we just selected. So the configurations we just created from initializing the project will be stored inside here. I have mine set up somewhere else and I'll be showing you that in a bit. So this is my separate profile.yaml file and you can see the name here is default while our DBT project is looking for a Jaffa shop profile. So I can just change this to default and save it and the error will go away. Now, once you're here, you would notice we have a couple of folders here and our models here is the most important directory in our project. This is where we develop our DBT models and create our transformation models, our business logic in it. So here we have staging models and math models. Staging models is where our data from the source is being pulled in and transformed, while our math models is where the transformed data is being stored. So if you check over here in our staging models, you would see all our SQL codes are CTEs and select statements, right? Getting from this raw customer source. Now, the raw customer source is from our seeds. Usually, we would get our raw data from a database or a data warehouse or some external source. But in this case, for the initialization of the project, we it has sample data sets over here that the data is being sourced from for demonstration purposes. One cool thing about DBT is if you were to open either of your models and open up your terminal and check your lineage, you would be able to see the flow of your data. This is the lineage of how your data flows from the source to the mat itself. So you could check the lineages for all your models. It lets you easily know where your data is coming from and what is happening in the data, what's happening to the data and where your data is going to. So if you check all your models, you would see that they all have a lineage. Over here we have macros. Now, macros are functions in DBTs. They are like functions in other programming language. So over here we have a macro. While if you look at this file, you can see we have this over here. Ref is a macro. This is a built-in macro in DBT. While you can also create custom macros. If you're interested in learning more about DBT, their learning platform is the best place to start. They have curated materials from beginner level to advanced level. They have materials covering every single aspect of DBT. And their DBT certified developer part is a curated course on learning everything about DBT and getting certified. Also, please remember to subscribe to the channel. I'll be releasing content on analytics engineering, building ETL pipelines, data warehouses, data transformation, and other related data concepts. Thank you very much. Also, please remember to subscribe to the channel. I'll be releasing content on analytics engineering, building ETL pipelines, data warehouses, data transformation, and other related data concepts. Thank you very much.